Hey guys, Cameron here doing a video review because I haven't done a lot on this channel. I want to do more. I actually haven't done a video on this channel for a while, so consider this my return, which I said that in the last video and then I didn't do a video for a while, but anyway, I do apologise. Into the review. Sherlock Holmes, Game of Shadows. Now this is the second Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movie. The last one I went to with too high expectations and didn't really pay off. It was a good movie, but it just didn't do as well as I expected it to. So I went into this one kind of excited, but kind of just like with a lot lower expectations. Now before I get into this, I would like to mention that there's going to be a couple of minor spoilers, mainly just like cast spoilers. I won't spoil any of the big plot points. But if you want to go into this movie completely fresh and just not knowing anything about it, then I suggest watching it first and then coming back to this. So anyway, first of all I want to talk about the cast. Now like always, Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law give amazing performances. Downey Jr. plays an amazingly eccentric and crazy but still extremely skilled Sherlock Holmes. It's almost like he took what he did in the first film and amped it up to 10. He's like Victorian times Batman, but with a few screws loose. And when I say he's like Batman, I literally mean that. Like, he goes into a room and he can see everything. He even addresses that in the movie, saying that he can see everything and it's like his curse. And Jude Law plays a really good, like, Watson who's trying to kind of distance himself from this life. He's kind of trying to get out of the game and he's kind of trying to push himself away from Holmes. We also get Stephen Fry playing Holmes' brother. Now Stephen Fry does a good job of like doing a parallel to Sherlock Holmes where he's not as smart but he's very intelligent, but instead of being eccentric about it, he's very calm and very, you know, nonchalant about things. Now Stephen Fry, considering he really hasn't acted for a while, he does give off a really good performance and you do feel like he could be like this brother to Holmes who isn't as good but still is comfortable with his position. Moving on to the villain, Jared Harris plays an amazing Moriarty. You really believe that this guy is the guy who can take down Sherlock Holmes. Of all the people that have to play off Downey Jr. in the movie, this guy and him really have the best kind of back and forth. It's like two titans colliding. They really just keep trying to one-up each other. And I don't want to spoil anything for you if you haven't watched the movie, but the final scene is probably one of the coolest villain hero scenes in cinema. Not the coolest, like it comes in the top 50, which I know is a lot, but there's a lot of cool ones. I also want to talk about the action scenes. The action scenes in this movie were really cool. Like, I know you think Sherlock Holmes and you think like, you know, detective work, and there's a lot of that, like, but there's also a really good action scenes and really good fight scenes. I mean, if you've seen the first movie, you've got the premise of what goes in Sherlock Holmes' mind. But you don't really need to. At the start of this movie, it gives a really good example and it repeats throughout the movie. Not too much that it becomes like repetitive, but enough that you get like enough exposure to it that it climaxes into the big fight at the end. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it does this thing, which I don't really want to spoil that much, but it basically does like bullet time fighting, and then what's going on in his head, what he thinks he's going to do, and then it plays it out, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's like a guy goes to punch him, and then you'll see like a slow motion thing of like he talks in his head and like blocks the punch and then punches back. You get what I'm saying. Also, this movie has one of the coolest action scenes I've seen all year. If you've seen the movie, it's the scene where they're running away from the German factory when Holmes and, I was about to say Jude Law, Watson just escaped and they run into the train. They've got like this whole German squad just firing at them and they're all running. And it does this really cool thing where like you see them run in normal motion, then it'll just slow down and you'll just see like bullets flying everywhere. And explaining it, it sounds very like cliched, but when you watch it, it's something that it's you want to feel like it's cliched, but it seems new enough because it's so detailed. So yeah, I really enjoyed Sherlock Holmes 2, or Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows. It has a thrilling plot, an amazing cast, and some of the coolest scenes I've seen all year. I'd highly recommend going to see it if you're into like detective movies, because it has a lot of that, but it also has a lot of action scenes, and I think it's a movie for everyone really. One complaint I did have with it though is that I don't know if I don't really understand. I think I may have missed something, but there's a scene at the start, near the start, where you see this woman that Holmes is obviously, you know, close to. Spoilers. And she's working for Moriarty. And she fails to do a mission, she goes to see him, and then he like poisons her or something. And watching that, I thought like, oh, he's just like knocked her out, and then you find out that she's got a disease. But it never addresses that. Like, there's this one scene where he does like a, oh, I miss her. But like, does it say if she died, or did she like get captured, or anything? Like, it has no closure whatsoever, it's just left. It feels like there should have been a scene towards the end where he's kind of just like upset about it and he's kind of like, look, she's gone. Like, Moriarty and him didn't even talk about it. You'd think he'd wanted to discuss that with his villain who's just killed his love. But other than that, really good film. I highly recommend you check it out. So yeah, that was my review of Sherlock Holmes 2. If you enjoyed this review, please remember to subscribe for more videos and reviews. And if you really enjoyed this format of movie reviewing, go check out BK Critic's new channel. He reviews movies there. It's cool. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you sometime soon. Like, there's a bit where I said it again.